For more than 100 years, Toro has built durable, reliable, legendary equipment, and next century will be no different. The company continues to prioritize innovation while honoring its legacy, exploring alternative power sources, smart connected products, and advanced digital solutions. The future is here, but Toro isn't leaving the craftsmanship of the past behind. When it's a Toro, you can count on it.
Let's maintain that turf today. Get up and brush off the dew on that turf today. Turf today. Turf today. Cut it and roll that dew on that turf today. Turf today. Turf today. Set up, they about to come through on that turf today. Turf today. Turf today. Get up. Turf today. Get up. Turf today. Let's get out the way. Here comes first play. Let's maintain that turf today.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Turf Today, recorded on the Superintendent Network and brought to you, as always, by Toro. And we got a different one this week, everybody. This is fun. This is a fun one. I got a beer right in front of me here. So listen, Brian's not around today, and he's headed out on spring break. Next week, we are taking off, but this week, we're having a little bit of fun. We have a guest co-host who you all know and love. Mr. Mark Prieur joins me on the microphones as we interview the assistant superintendent at Maidstone, Ryan Trudeau. So we got a guy from Cornwall, a guy from Montreal, and a guy from Ottawa. We'll see how this goes, fellas. Looking forward to it. So let's head on down to Caledon, talk to Mr. Prieur with the
So we're
swag.
going to talk about Tiger Woods or what?
Yeah, I mean, that'll be old news by the time this comes out on Tuesday, but all the
Oh, yeah,
headlines,
that's
I just
right. Yeah,
opened
yeah.
my phone there and it was just headline after headline. Tiger involved in
Yeah.
rollover crash. And the one thing I read said there was no injuries, but
I was hoping to see him when I went there in a couple weeks. But yeah,
That'd be pretty
what's
cool.
going on with you? How you feeling?
things are good.
I'm
Yeah.
going to raw dog it without headphones. Is that okay?
So you sound good.
Okay.
Everything's coming through loud and clear.
Okay, good. Sent me. So he's a Canadian boy.
So we got Montreal, Cornwall, and Ottawa on the show today, taking over the world.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's so I played there a bunch of years ago. We went on a big trip through like Shinnecock and we went out to Maidstone and yeah, like I said, it's a Willie Park Junior golf course. So is Weston Golf Club. That's where Ackerman is.
Okay.
So he's a big Willie Park Junior guy. Your backdrop has really come a long way. Like it's like top shelf, man. You're all kitted out.
Oh, I apprget it.
The
Yeah, well, I
neon
used to
and
be
all.
in the old furnace room down there by the old the old hot water heater.
I got like the generic builder's beige in the back. I got a little hockey tournament thing.
There
when
you
I was
go.
at a
Nice.
European. I was in Europe in '94, and I kept a poster from all the way then, and I just had it plaqued, and I should hang up my golf paraphernalia, but I'm not a collector like Lamoureux is. Lamoureux's
Oh
got
my
all this
gosh.
shit.
He's got so
Yeah.
many boxes. When he moved, he actually gave me a bunch of stuff 'cause he's like, I had to get rid of it. Like, I can't take it
Yeah.
anymore. But
Hey,
he
you've got
visit.
content in 2028. Looks like Lamoureux and I might both be doing the Olympics, eh?
No way.
Well,
No
when we were
way.
when we were at Rib, they were hot on us coming back in 27, and then they
Mhm.
said, well, in 28 we're going to host the Genesis and we're going to host the Olympics.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's of course John's like beside himself, right? Like he's just loving it. But
That is really cool. And you would want the same crew that does the tournament to do the Olympics, right? Like, don't change a thing. Just roll it right back out.
yeah. So Thomas, the agronomist, and then the superintendent and stuff like that, they were hot on that, making sure that everybody was comfortable in what they were doing, and they really liked the crew they had this year. So yeah, it was fantastic.
What's
Hey,
up, brother? How are you?
Dude, how are you?
Not too bad. I was just hanging with Mr. Prieur. He just headed out to go grab a beer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm not too sure if you guys had met along the road at all, or if he's just one of those guys you've heard some of his content.
I have, yeah.
Yeah, he's excited. He's been the guest on the show a few times, but we've always talked about having him as a host. So he came on here and he's been pretty excited. But he's like, "Oh, if you guys are having beers, I'm going to get a beer."
I love
So
it.
he'll be back. So what's going on, man?
Oh, busy at work. Opening in 2 weeks, maybe three. And we're redoing our clubhouse actually, and
Oh
we're
boy.
redoing the road, the entrance road, and they just ripped up a ton of irrigation. So
Jeez,
yeah, it's
that's
bad.
rough. So
Yeah.
what's weather like down there right now in New York?
It's you know what? It's like mid 40s. Actually, though, I've been in New York full time. Like this is going on my fifth year, and I've never had snow stay longer than like a day. And this winter has been terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty nasty. Couple big snowstorms too for you.
We got 30 inches in 24 hours. Oh, go Habs go.
Wow.
Go Habs go.
Sees an opportunity and grabs it, eh? I love
Yeah.
it.
Hey, let me show you this.
Oh, wow. The
Oh
old
yeah.
Patrick Waugh?
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Not bad.
That is amazing. I was a huge
He
Patty
didn't.
Waugh fan growing up.
He didn't. He didn't like his homecoming when the Islanders were at Montreal the other night, though.
Oh, that's
No.
true. Those guys have a shot, though. Like, you can talk about Canadian teams. I like the Canadians. I like their chances. They can definitely go on a bit of a run.
Yeah, I
Exciting to
think
watch.
so.
Yeah, worse than what we're dealing with here in Ottawa right now. My goodness.
Oh yeah.
So we're in Montreal then, Ryan.
West Island, Kirkland, Quebec.
Gotcha. I
Yeah.
did a lot of my underage drinking in Point Claire, River Baudette, Saint Lazare.
Point Clair is about 5 minutes away from me, so
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Yeah,
funny
when
how
you're in
there's
Ontario, you can't drink when you're underage because it's 19. But for
Yep.
some reason, the drinking age in Quebec is 18, but really it's
Yep.
14. So
right.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. They don't check anything over there.
I love it. I
All
love it.
right. Well, Ryan, welcome to the show, man. A little bit different this week. Brian's off, but we're very excited to have Mark Prieur with us. We like our guests to kind of go back and start things off from the beginning. So tell us about your upbringing, getting into golf, and kind of falling into the turf industry.
Yeah, so I golfed since I was young. Probably I started at 8 years old, so I always loved it. And then as I got older and started applying to universities, I did 2 years at Dalhousie University in Halifax. And I was studying economics and political science at the time, but I had no idea what I wanted to do with that. And in the summers, I was working at Beaconsfield Golf Club. And just talking to my boss and the assistant at the time, James Johnson, he got me way more into the industry, and I realized that I love working here and it's something I wanted to do. And I applied to Penn State, transferred over, and have been loving it ever since.
Nice.
That's
Kind of
awesome.
a fast track there. I like that. You were like, I'm getting right into this.
Oh yeah.
So do you still play golf? Do you still find that that's an important thing in your life, or have you kind of
Oh yeah,
taken
I'd
over
probably get
fully?
out there. I'd say once or twice a week. I mean, and Maidstone, where I'm at now, they're very good to us. They know how much work we put into the golf course, and they really let us go. As long as the course isn't like completely packed, they let us play whenever.
Nice. I like to ask guys that because I feel like some guys get into turf and they just leave the bag at home and stop playing golf. So that's good. You still get out there.
Yeah, you know what? We actually have something really cool out here. So there's a lot of great golf on the east end of Long Island. You got Shinnecock National, Sabonic, Maidstone, and all the assistants get together and we host each other constantly. And, we play a good amount out here.
Don't forget about Southampton Golf Club, the
Hey,
redheaded
that's
stepchild out there, right?
extremely underrated. I'll tell you that. Seth Rayner could be Seth Rayner's best work, honestly.
I would say so for sure. Yeah, I had the opportunity to play Maidstone a number of years ago. Unfortunately, the back nine was a deluge, and because it's you're all the way out and you all have to come all the way back in. We just kind of had to play in, and the storm came right in off the Atlantic and soaked it. But Willie Park Junior Golf Course, it's a gem out there, that's for sure.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Willie Park, and it got redone by Corn Crenshaw. Not redone, restored, I should say, in 2015.
Yes. So
Yeah.
how long have you been there?
So I interned here in 2021, and I've been an assistant since 2022.
Okay.
So I'm going on my fifth year as an assistant. Yeah.
So when we played, there were only two groups out there that day, just because of the time of year, and it was in September. Actually, the group in front of us was a bunch of other illustrious Canadian superintendents. We were more the degenerates in the back, but it
Yes.
strikes me as like it strikes me as one of those clubs where that wealthy northeastern American family. They're like, wow, we summer in the Hamptons, and with the full country club, the beach, the tennis club,
Yeah.
where wealthy parents would probably drop their kids off at the beginning of the summer and then actually not see them till Labor Day. Is that am I close on that? Or
Yeah, you kind of hit the mark right there. Yeah. I mean, the club actually does have like they have this we call it JA, junior activities, and they drop the kids off at 9 a.m. and they play golf, they play tennis, they go to the beach club, and then they pick them up, at night or in the evening, and you really hit the nail on the mark right there. Like that's a pretty good description.
very family oriented is what it struck me as, rather than you go to a place like Shinnecock, where it's more of a players club, a very very small unassuming clubhouse. Like the locker room at Shinnecock looks like my kitchen. I mean,
Yep.
other than the little like half lockers and stuff, so it's very very opulent and stuff like that. So I can kind of see how it would go there. But
Yeah, actually, you know what? When we're working out there and 1 p.m. even, there's kids biking, like the children of the members, they're biking on the golf course and they get the right of way. Like if you're teeing
Wow.
off and there's 15 kids in a bike, you wait and you let them pass and then you go. It's definitely a family-oriented club.
yes.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm going to jump right into the agronomy of it. But when we played, because it's on the Atlantic and you kind of have that, I want to say it's like 9T or 10T, like where they got that big sandbar where you kind of can't see over the Atlantic. And like, where do you draw your water from? You're not drawing from the Atlantic Ocean because that's full of
No.
salt. So how does that work?
So we have an irrigation pond that we take from there, and we got a drainage system that collects it all and shoots out to the irrigation pond. But no, there's definitely some challenges being where we're located. And what's funny is that the course, there's only a certain amount of holes that are on the ocean. Some of it is inland. So every
Correct.
hole is kind of like a microclimate that we have to manage differently. So, and then you get to the East Course, and the East Course it's kind of parkland style almost. I wouldn't say parkland, but there's definitely trees around there, and there's not as much wind. It gets hotter, and every hole we kind of have to manage differently.
Hang on a second. There's another golf course. Like we played the other one, like the west, like you
Yeah, so
walk
we
across the road, and then the second hole seemed like it was below the grade of the water. It seemed really low. Then we
yep.
walked across. There's a complete other golf course?
Yeah, so we have our west course
Wow.
that's our main course. That's the one that gets all the attention. 18 holes. Then we got a 9-holer that we call the East Course, and then we got it about oh geez, I should know this. I want to say 36 grass tennis courts as well. That we
36.
Yeah, we got a lot of grass tennis courts, and it's funny. We got our true clay courts as well, but rarely see them get used. If you're a tennis player, I guess I'm not that big into tennis, but grass takes the cake over everything. They only want to play on grass.
Are you guys
Wow.
mowing that every day?
No, so we alternate. So we'll mow one day and then roll the next.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, we've been mowing it at 312, and this year we're dropping it down to 275.
That's
Yep.
tight. Can't say I've ever played tennis on a grass court. That'd be pretty special.
Are you
Like
guys responsible for the turf on the tennis too, or is that a complete other crew?
that's us. Yeah, we do tennis and golf. Yeah.
How do you feel
Nice.
about that?
I like it. I mean, it's funny. Golf gets what's the word I'm looking for? Not pretentious, but the certain clientele that you get on golf, tennis is like on another level from that. Like if you have any other color on you other than white, you're asked to leave. Like yeah,
Oh, like
it's
Wimbledon.
yeah, it's pretty intense actually.
They got the high standards.
Yep.
Well,
That's
no,
funny.
that's good. I'm a traditionalist. I like the uniforms, and golf is full of tradition. I think tennis should be, if it has it too, I think you should respect that. So that's pretty unique. Yeah. There was sorry, just getting back to my experience there. Like, yeah, we played the first hole, and then I think we like kind of crossed the road. I think it was the second or third hole. A couple of holes almost seemed like they were like below the water line. Like they were
Yeah, you're
really
talking on
Ooh.
low.
hole three. It's
Three.
three. Yeah, that goes out to the ocean, like towards that direction, and then 16 is the one coming back. I'd say they're
Yeah.
about level with the ocean, but whenever there's like a big rainstorm, there's nothing we can with the ocean. Sorry, with the pond that's there. There's nothing we can do about drainage. Like it's pretty tough to
It's
control that.
underwater. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, whenever we talk to people from California and the West Coast, they talk a lot about that marine layer, coming in and affecting the golf course. And I know there's kind of that westerly wind. So I wonder on the East Coast, do you guys deal with the actual ocean, issues from the ocean itself?
Since I've been here, no, there's been some pretty bad hurricanes in the past before I was there where it has affected them, and they've had to throw gypsum all over the golf course. But the biggest thing I notice about being on the ocean is, if you tee off at 1 o'clock at Maidstone, it can be a beautiful sunny day, and then 5 minutes later, there's just fog where you cannot see 5 feet in front of you.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's wild. And that'd be
yeah,
crazy, sun coming up too and just fog everywhere. We've dealt with some of those
yeah.
mornings before. So down right by the ocean, that would be be thick.
Yep. I remember I was driving, I think I was like on a hole six, and I was driving, and then I ran into my buddy Parker, who's an assistant as well, and he just pulled up to me. He goes, "Are we on 14 right now?" And I'm like, "No, we're on six. We're on a complete different hole."
Try again.
Yeah.
That's funny.
For sure.
So, sticking with Maidstone here, tell us about the tradition because this sounds really interesting. Something every single person has to go through, no matter any rank on the course.
Oh yeah. So when you first start at Maidstone, what we like to do, and my buddy Kevin Whalen started this. He just left Maidstone and got his first head super job. But your first day after you cut, the way we do course setup, you end on 14, which is like a par three on the water. And after you cut a cup, you run across the dunes and jump in the ocean and come back. And then on your last day, you do the same thing.
No
And it's
way.
pretty it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
That is a good tradition. Start by getting wet and leave soaking wet.
A
Exactly.
tradition unlike any other. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool golf hole.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
14th there is.
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
When
There's
did
a
you play Maidstone?
gosh when the GCS AA had a Can-Am event at Baltusrol, and then a couple of us we went out in golf like Shinnecock and Sabonic and Links, and we had the luxury of going out to Maidstone. I want to say 2013 we were out there. And there's tell me about the other hole. I think it's the eighth or the 10th. It's like a blind par three. Is it the
Yep.
eighth?
Yeah, so it's the eighth, and you shoot over dunes. And if the
Yeah.
pin is on the right side, the dune covers it. But if it's on the left, you can see it. But
Yeah.
if you played in 2013, from what I hear, you would not recognize the course if you were to play it again since Corn Crenshaw came in.
Well, that sounds like
Ooh.
an invite. It
Yeah,
sounded like an invite to
Hey,
we're gonna
me.
have to go
I'm
back.
not,
We're gonna have
guys,
to see it now.
if you guys are ever on Long Island, let me know and I could get you guys out.
there you go.
That'd
The
be fun.
benefits of hosting a podcast.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. No, I mean it's no, but it was obviously it's very walkable, and you're really at one with it with nature there. Like you're out right out at the end of Long Island, and it was great. I mean, again, the routing of the golf course was very solid. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's the perfect. So, there's a lot of good golf on Long Island, and there's a lot of debate about which is the best golf course. I might be biased because I work there, but it's hard to beat just everything about Maidstone. The views, how it's laid out, like it's top notch. And I don't, there's not many golf courses I would take over it.
Fantastic. Oh, Willie Park I mean, sorry, I know it's Core Crenshaw now, but it's a very unique piece of property, that's for sure. I mean, again, the further you get out on to Long Island, you do get those very great properties. I mean, that's a whole other podcast in itself,
Yeah. I
discussing.
mean, out of the golf courses here, I should take that back. There might be one I would take over Maidstone, and that's Friar's Head. I don't know if you guys have ever played it.
Prior said is I mean, everything about it's really cool, and cool clubhouse there too, cool vibe.
Yeah.
But we just ran out of days. Prior said was on the list, but yeah,
Like I think it's 9, 10, and then like 14 to 18 is the insane how beautiful it is.
yeah.
It's
I
nuts.
like National Golf Links was pretty cool. There's a
Yep.
lot of great architecture there. Shinnecock and the older ones. I love how golf architecture mimics the times of like the period or the economics of it. So, when golf was new to North America, there were no architects. So they basically just a bunch of rich Americans were like, okay, all right, Ryan, you're the best golfer. Why don't you go over to Scotland for 6 months? Tell us what you learned, come back and run a golf course. Like that's kind of how Marion was done, right? And
Yeah.
Marion's a spectacular layout. You get those things, or they just had European architects that come over, right? So they just borrowed a lot, like the Redan and the Barrettes and those things. And I think when you go to these older clubs out on Long Island, you see them, but then you go and play these new places like Friars Head, and you think they're 100 years old, and you're
Yeah,
like, wait a
exactly.
second,
Ah,
because it's a Jack Nicklaus, right? It's Friars Head, not a Jack
No, it's
Nicklaus.
Corn Crenshaw as well.
Oh, sorry, Court Crenshaw. Sorry,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
and you think, oh, this course, how many decades has this been around? And you're like, this is fairly new compared to like Shinnecock or
I think it was
Maidstone.
2006. I could
Yeah,
be wrong,
crazy.
but it was definitely after 2000, that's for sure.
And how old is Maidstone, right?
1891.
Yeah.
Actually, no. So the club started as a tennis and archery club in 1891. And then he- I don't want to be mistaken here, but then in 1891, Willie Dunn did Shinnecock Hills. And 3 years later, they brought Willie Dunn to build three golf holes to see if the membership would like it. So he did three. And then in
just gave him a chance, eh?
Yeah, yeah,
I'll
yeah,
give you
well, yeah,
three.
they just
See what
they,
see
they
what
didn't really
happens.
have the property at that time, so there wasn't a lot of room. So he did three holes, and then so there's rumors that Seth Rayner did a couple as well, and we're actually restoring. We found one of his greens that was lost during the hurricane in 1936, and we're
What?
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Found it.
So there's rumors that he was on property, and I think it was, he was working with McDonald at the time on Long Island during their tour, and I think McDonald cost more than Seth Rayner, and he was kind of his apprentice at the time. So we brought Seth Rayner in, and he built a couple holes, and then a hurricane. So we had like a clean nine, I want to say, after he built that. And then 1922, Willie Dunn came in and added 36 holes. So at one point, Maidstone was 36 holes. And then in 1936, a hurricane came into New York and wiped out 9 holes. And one of those holes was Seth Rayner's par three design on our East course that we found old photos from on Google Maps from before 1936 and in like pictures that some members had. And we found where the layout was, and you could kind of see like, it's all weeds there now, but you could see where the bunkers were, and we're basically growing it back in. So it's pretty cool actually.
Yeah, that would be great.
It's a neat piece of
Yeah.
history.
Yeah.
So Ryan, take us back. You talked about being at Penn State and then having a internship at Maidstone. What made you make that decision? How did that land in your lap?
Yeah, so you know what's funny? I always saw myself living in the Rockies. And when I went to Penn State, I applied to a course there, and after getting off the phone with him, I accepted the job. And then Dr. Kaminsky, who runs the Penn State program, said that's fine, but you need to apply to another course and practice saying no to them without burning a bridge. So I went on TurfNet, never even heard of Maidstone. It was just the first one that was there, and clicked it. And I get a Zoom link, and it's John, who's the head superintendent, and all of his assistants. And we talked for an hour, not even about the job, not even about like my skills or anything. We were talking about the Bruins versus the Canadians. Like it was
Nice.
just a great conversation. And when I finished that, I just knew that this is where I wanted to be. And so I had to say no to the guy I just said yes to and keep that bridge alive and
That
come
was
to
an even
Maidstone.
tougher no.
Yeah, it was not a fun conversation to
Yeah.
have. Yeah.
That's awesome though. So much experience there. And when you find something where it's like this is my home, this is where I want to be. Obviously, you have a full-time job there now. So is that the end goal for you? Do you want to be the superintendent at Maidstone at some point, or do you want to go on and kind of have your own course?
I could see myself maybe like 2 or 3 more years as an assistant and then start applying. I think, as a first job to be Maidstone is pretty hard to get,
Yeah.
like so I love the atmosphere of Maidstone and its location and the membership, and if it's not Maidstone, something that's similar to it would be pretty cool to have as a first job.
Yeah, somewhere in that area. You don't really want to leave New York.
So if I were to leave New York, I definitely want to be on the ocean. Like after living out here, I do not want to be in a landlocked state, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Not even in the
That's for
Rockies? Come on. The
you
mountains
know what
are
I thought that was the lifestyle for me, but I guess not.
What about Canada? Do you ever think about returning back home, or do you like kind of being in the States and working more PGA tournaments and being in, that sort of golf?
Yeah, so it's funny. I get asked that a lot, and there's advantages and disadvantages I find of both. I feel like, in the US, you could obviously make more money than you can in Canada at any golf course. Like, there's just more money in the United States.
Hmm.
That being said, I feel like, raising a family and just quality of life in Canada it probably beats out the US. So I wouldn't be against going back to Canada, and I wouldn't be against staying here. It really just depends on what opportunities present themselves.
I like that. You live into it, right? See how it goes.
Yeah, yeah, day by day. We'll see. We'll see where life takes me.
We are back with another Ask the Agronomist segment featuring PhD agronomist Tony Goldsby from the Andersons. Our question today, which is a follow-up from last week about the Andersons, from Steve Houlihan, why don't you guys come out with a wedding agent?
Well, thanks again, Adam, for having me on the show this week, and thanks again for the follow-up question from Steve. And as it may be, actually, we did just recently at the golf show release a large particle wetting agent product that's called HydroCharge from the Andersons. And again, designed like most of those typical wetting agents are to improve both your soil moisture performance, but also delivering plant nutrition kind of all in one. And this one specifically utilizes a two-part surfactant system. So it has both those block copolymers and penetrates. So you get a little bit of that dual action. And then obviously the biosolid base that provides you that NPK that's, again, going to help you not only move water more effectively through the soil profile, but you're also getting that turf feeding at the same time. So maybe for those of you who aren't as familiar with, surfactants or why you'd want to use them as some of the others out there, obviously, anytime you can put those out there to help break that water surface tension, help improve that water infiltration, and, help move that moisture more uniformly throughout the profile. That's a big key in helping manage things like LDS or localized dry spots, and then also just improving your overall irrigation efficiency and distribution uniformity. So, also being able to put that in a granular form obviously makes it a little bit easier for those of you that don't have the sprayer, or we were just joking, Adam and I is not ready quite to be cranking his sprayer up in his neck of the woods yet. You've got options where you could put that down as a granular form in a one pass solution for, both identifying a way to help with hydration issues and then also give you some baseline fertility. So that's HydroCharge. And again, I mean, if there's other products or ideas out there on the market, especially that one, it's a little larger particle. So if there's something that would be, of interest as in more of a greens grade, we always love the feedback. And again, most of the products that we end up coming out with are start from ideas from great superintendents just like this. So appreciate the feedback always.
This wraps up another Ask the Agronomist segment featuring Dr. Tony Goldsby from the Andersons.
the Long Island setup's pretty good though. I mean, there's a great tight knit bunch of guys out there by how you're describing it, and
Oh yeah.
that's important, right? I think as turf managers, to say it like it is, sometimes in some seasons are pretty rough. It's kind of like an us against them attitude, and you have to look to your brothers at other golf courses and see that everybody's under the same struggles when you're right into that sort of really tough part of the season. And when you have that many great golf courses in such a compressed sort of geographic location, it's a really, really great place to be.
Oh, for sure. And you know what? The main reason I'm still here actually is because of my boss, John. He could be, when I was at school, they kept saying, find a mentor, and he could be the best guy to work for. Like he is just as good of a boss he is, he's even a better guy. And he would tell us stories like when he first got the job, it was hard for him to find talent to come to Maidstone as like assistants because even though it's a great golf course and it's always in the top 100, we got National and Shinnecock in our backyard, which are in the top 10. So he kind of did he changed up how he ran it, and he's got this work-life balance that he's got going. So some courses out here are pushing 90-hour weeks, and we're probably doing 45 to 50. And yeah, he's a great mentor of mine, and working for him is kind of why I'm here.
Yeah, we hear so much about that in our industry, and so many good men and women that are, good superintendents and also good leaders and good people, right? They're there to help you with anything you have in your life. I had a superintendent that was like that too, that helped me with finances and how to buy a home and how to talk to my wife and how to do different things that went on in my life. It was amazing. You could just turn to him for anything, and at the same time he's putting in that 50, 60 hours a week at the golf course, which is incredible. So it's awesome to be able to find those people, and incredible that you found that person. And one of the reasons we brought you on the show so quickly was because a couple of weeks ago we talked to Mr. Brian Seltzer, who was somebody who spoke very highly of you. So we'd love to hear kind of your side of that whole story about, meeting Brian and where he's kind of come through and all that.
Yeah, Brian's a great guy. I listened to that podcast. I love the shout out he gave me. Yeah, so I met Brian through my cousin actually. They went to high school together, and they skied together, and I was a part of that ski world too, just in a different country. But we both worked at golf courses, like on the grounds crew at the same time, and we would talk about it. And then I told him I was going to Penn State and he should come too, but I think he was still chasing that, that ski bum life and just enjoying that for a little longer. And and I kind of planted that seed with him. So, even though we'd only if I would text him like once every 6 months, I would tell him like what I'm doing and, are you missing this at all? And I think he was. And then I think he realized that, as great as a life is of, bartending and skiing, eventually, you can't do that forever, sort of say. But
Hmm.
Why
and
not? It's a great
yeah, you
life.
know what? That's a good point, actually. Why are we doing that right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not going to get married and have kids,
What's the drawback here?
like,
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and I would tell him like, what I was learning in school and because when you work on as a grounds crew guy, you're not really learning. You're learning, but like, you're doing more manual labor than actually understanding the bigger picture of it. And so I was explaining him the bigger picture, what I was learning from school, and then when I was doing my internship, I was telling him what I was doing, why I was doing it. And eventually he was like, you know what? Yeah, I want to do this. And he applied to Penn State and he's been loving it ever since.
yeah, yeah, definitely. And that's all it takes sometimes, right? Just a little inspiration. Hey, that guy could do this. Oh, he looks like he enjoys himself. He's having fun. Like, I'm gonna do that too. And sometimes it's all it takes. So it's great to hear both your sides, and you guys are both doing well in the industry now. So it's awesome.
No, and you know what? They always say when you get into the industry to always give back to it. And I think getting Brian into the industry was my greatest give back to it because he's just got a head on his shoulders and he's going to do so well in this industry and he's going to be extremely successful.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love the way that you said that. You're right, giving back to the industry. You can either like be a mentor. Part of what I did for a long time was volunteering and stuff like that. Apparently, you guys have some sort of small national championship down at Shinnecock this year too. You might be volunteering for some small golf tournament.
Yeah.
Small,
Never heard of it.
yes.
U.S. Open, maybe.
What's
One of the golf
Shinnecock?
tournaments.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But that's
no,
another way to give back to the industry, right? Just pitch in and help out with some golf tournaments, right?
yeah,
So
you know what? You know what's funny? Brian applied to volunteer there, and he didn't get in because I guess with what's going on with Shinnecock, they only have so many rooms. So like, unless you have your own housing, it's hard to get in. And I texted the assistant there. I'm like, he's gonna crash on my couch, just and he's like, all right, I'll put him in. So he's coming. He's coming
Nice.
to
Nice.
volunteer
excellent.
with me, and yeah, we're gonna have a good time.
Love it. I love it. Have they assigned you your duties yet?
They have not. No, we gave them our sizes for clothes, and we rated out of 1 to 5 how comfortable you are with doing this and this. But it's gonna be interesting. I mean, they always have that place dialed in. That's another great course on the island. But yeah, the stands as we drive by it, the stands are going up right now, and they seem to be pretty busy,
Oh
especially
yeah, they'll be rocking in for that for sure. Yeah.
especially with the winter that we just had on the island. And I don't know how they're doing it because yeah, they got their hands full right now. I'll say that.
Yeah, that's right. And then they got to get, I mean, we'll talk about in the podcast about the, setting it up and the agronomy of it and the green speeds and the firmness or whatever. But, having done a number of events, and I know I saw in your bio here you did a Sawgrass, which is basically a major. You know, you forget that it's really the PGA. It's a circus from week to week, and in the middle of the circus there's a golf tournament.
Yeah.
They got to get the crowds in and out of there. They got
Yeah.
to feed them. They got to do the merch or whatever. I know they built a train stop at basically at Shinnecock, but it's a zoo. It's just a goddamn zoo. And when you see it from the inside, you're in the eye of the hurricane, where it's somewhat calm, but it's crazy to see what they do at these things, right? So yeah,
Oh,
Shinnecock's no different for sure.
yeah.
But they do host the U.S. Open a lot, so
They're
they're
ready for it.
the
Yeah.
upper management. I mean, yeah, is ready for it as you can be. I mean, weather always throws you a curveball, but it's crazy. Yeah. So you're
Well,
looking forward to it?
oh yeah, but I'll tell you what I'm not looking forward to. So, well, you've been in the Hamptons. There's one road in, one road out. So traffic is always
Traffic.
bad,
Mm.
and I cannot even imagine what it's gonna be like. Like I'm just thinking about it. Like this is gonna be it's gonna be terrible. That's the one thing I'm not excited about.
Yeah. Well, you guys are going to be
Maybe you
going in
could
at
take
3 o'clock in the morning, so you might be
Yep.
okay.
Yeah, we are. You're right, actually. Yeah. I
Maybe
guess
you
we'll be
could take your
avoiding that.
bicycle and you'll have the right of way, just like you
Yeah,
do on
yeah,
the golf
good
course,
point.
right?
You know, I might get there quicker.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
That's
you're
awesome.
right. You're there early in the morning, and that'll be one thing. But then you just it bottlenecks, right? I mean, as you further get east, like even out to your property, it's like less and less and less roads, right? Till you get out
Yep.
to Montauk. But yeah, it's challenging. I mean, but Shinnecock, it always sets up well on TV. They do a wonderful job, and history will be written, right? But it's fantastic.
For
You
sure.
did the players too. I saw in your bio.
Yeah, I did the play. So when you're at Penn State, after you finish your first year, before you start your internship, you go to the players and you volunteer for that. And I love that. That was such a cool, their facility. Have you guys been there?
No.
No, that's one of the few I haven't been to. I got to
Hmm.
be honest with
Their
Tough
you.
one to
Yeah,
get to.
their
yeah.
maintenance facility is like nothing I've ever seen. It is another level of professionalism and just how massive it is. Like it blew my mind.
It's green from top to bottom too, right? The
Yep.
TPC
Yeah.
course. Yeah.
Yep. And John Deere at no Toro,
No.
which we're all Toro at Maidstone. I don't know what your guys' opinion is, but we're definitely pro Toro.
Thanks.
But
There you
no
go. Well,
Toro at TPC.
Give the
shows.
plug
So
for the sponsor
we're
here. Keep going on
good.
about Toro.
I've actually never worked on a course that didn't have Toro.
Yeah, I could say the same thing, you know. Like, yeah, I might have the odd piece of equipment that's John Deere, the odd tractor or something like that. But no, yeah,
Yeah,
I've always been a Toro guy myself too.
I'm going to reserve my judgment then. Well, we'll just move on to the
Yeah, just
next.
moving on, moving on. So, well, I wanted to
Love
ask
it.
about the players though. Like, that was your first tournament. That must have been unbelievable to be like, I've been in golf my whole life. I've watched this on TV. Now I'm going to school for this, and holy smokes, look where I am.
yeah, it was awesome. It kind of you have this surreal moment of like, I'm a part of this thing that is getting millions of views all over the world, and it's and you're there with your friends who you're going through school with, and it just makes the experience that much better.
Yeah, that must have been a blast.
Yeah,
No
no,
beers that week, eh?
no, we were in bed. Like as soon as we left, we were in bed. We were very good. We yeah, it was a fantastic experience. And even if your school doesn't offer you that, I highly suggest anybody listening to this to go volunteer because out of any of these big tournaments, they will take as many people as they can get. And it was probably the most fun job I've ever worked was that week at TPC Sawgrass.
That's fantastic. While we're plugging volunteer experience, there's a small event the exact week after the U.S. Open called the Travelers Championship. It's held at TPC River Highlands in Connecticut, and poor Jason, there's the U.S. Open. It's U.S. Opens in the Northeast, and poor guy just stars for volunteers. And I know he always looks for volunteers the week after. I've done it several times. Actually, this will be my fourth time going to Connecticut. And as a plug, it's if you're going to do an event, Jason really everybody in the whole state of Connecticut puts on a great show there. It's their largest sporting event, basically. So they do one there. So if you ever get the chance, hop across that body of water over to Connecticut and go pay Jason a visit and
I
do
might have to.
volunteering for a PGA Tour event is fun. It's kind of like you're going to battle, and you spend the whole week with them, and you're, to quote John Ballard when he was at Valhalla, he goes, "I want you to leave tired and fulfilled." And I think about that all the time. You're absolutely wiped by Sunday. You're just wiped, but you've got a big smile on your face, and you look at the other people that you volunteered with that are scattered across the country, and you still chat with them, or you DM them, or you send them stupid reels on Instagram, or maybe that I just do that because I'm old. But I'm sure you met a lot of great people when you did Sawgrass. I mean, I know they have a large volunteer staff, but you bond with about 10 or 12 people there, or the part that was maybe on your mowing platoon, or who you're doing divots with and stuff like that. So I'm sure you do that as well, Ryan. You still keep in touch with some of those people that you met down
Oh,
there?
for sure. Yeah. There's actually one. So we're not Penn State's not the only school. Michigan's like a bunch of turf schools come down to the players, and I remember Maidstone had a job opening a couple years ago, and I reached out to one of the Michigan State guys. I'm like, you should come work with us. Like, this would be great. And no, you meet guys from all over America, all over the world, really, and you just make great experiences. I highly suggest anybody to do it. It was one of the most fun times of my life, really.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And like you said, you're going to go do a U.S. Open right in your backyard. You'll be having your buddy crashing on your couch, and you'll be
Yep.
able to show him your part of the world where you live. I think it's really good, and you know, I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be fun. I'm excited for this, and you know, I from what I hear, and I'm sure this is true, Oakmont got a lot of love last year for being like the toughest course in America, and I think Shinnecock's going to try to show America that they're way tougher now.
Oh,
So,
baby, I
yeah,
love that.
yeah.
I
So,
love that. Coming for
listen, these are
blood.
all rumors, but these are the rumors I'm hearing, and so it's going to be a good U.S. Open.
Oh, I just, you think about those golf holes at Shinnecock, like, 11, that yeah, it's 10. 11's a par three. Like
Yep.
that's just a murderous hole. Like I don't even know how they even land a golf ball on the green. I mean, there's lots of other good golf holes there. That's just the one. It's like, we when we played there, we had the caddy. He said, welcome to the toughest par five you're ever going to play. It's like, wait,
Yep.
hang on a minute here. The hole's only like 130 years long. But yeah,
So when you, well, if you go to school for Penn State, you do your internship, and Dr. Kaminsky visits all of his students. And when he came to visit me, he brought Dr. McGraw. Um, and so,
Ben came
yeah,
out.
yeah, I love Dr.
Did he bring his
McGraw.
kid though? Did he bring his kid?
He did not. He did
Luke? Oh,
not.
Luke's
But
quite the golfer.
He's a
Yeah.
stick.
yes, he's a very good golfer from what I see. But I can't remember if it was Dr. Kaminsky or Dr. McGraw who said this, but I asked them what their opinion was on Maidstone compared to the other courses, and they were like, if I had 10 rounds, I would play six at National, three at Maidstone, and one at Shinnecock, just because you play Shinnecock once and like a double, I'm like an 8 to a 10 handicap. A double feels like a par.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
Like,
wow, that
yeah,
hard.
it's like you're like, oh my God, I got out of that hole with the double. Like, this is good. And so like you play once and you're like, I don't need to play this for like another month. Like, I'm good.
I'm okay. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
not do that again today.
Yeah.
Fine. Yeah. I mean, it's hole after hole. Yeah, it doesn't let up. It never. You get to the back nine, you're like, oh, okay, this isn't. And then you play like 11, which is murderous, and kind of go over. And then is it 16? Is the uphill par five? I always forget. 15 or 16
Uh,
is the uphill par five, and it's
I,
like a forever drive just to get to the fairway. And
yeah,
it's, I don't know. I mean, you're right. It's exhausting. I mean, and again, you hate to be cliche, but it looks so flat on TV.
it's
You
not.
know, I
It's
hate
not.
It's
It's like
not.
Augusta.
cliche like that, but it's but flat. Like that ninth green is way up there. It is
Yeah.
way up there when you're hitting
By
in.
the way,
And
that could be like there's some picture perfect moments at Maidstone. That ninth, when you come up that hill and the clubhouse is right behind, that could be the most beautiful golf hole I've ever seen in my life. And I
yes,
don't like, I'm biased to Maidstone. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, 9 and 14 are beautiful at Maidstone. 9 at Shinnecock is one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
so little bit of golf trivia and a little bit of Scottish trivia at the same time. So we played. We had a caddy, and he sometimes the caddies will name the hole, like every hole has a name at Shinnecock. So the ninth is named Ben Nevis, and the caddy had referred that. I'm like, it's Ben Nevis.
I was gonna say this is like over 15 years ago. How do you remember that?
Oh yeah, I have a good memory. So anyway, so the golf hole's named Ben Nevis, and I was like, "What the hell's Ben Nevis? What's Ben? No idea what Ben Nevis is." Sure enough, we got back to the hotel room. I googled Ben Nevis. So Ben Nevis is the highest point in all of Scotland.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we're all looking up and down. I was like, when you're hitting in the 9 green, it feels like you're hitting your golf ball into the highest point of all of Scotland.
Yeah.
So whatever, 100 and some years ago, when they named this golf hole at Shinnecock, I'm sure somebody thought back in Scotland, going, "Hey, this is me doing my Scottish accent. Sorry, hey, feels like it's hitting into Ben Nevis." That's kind of how it is. Like, take a
And
couple
you know what's
extra
funny? Nine, it kind of sneaks up on you. Like you don't realize, like you're on the tee and you're like, oh yeah, it goes uphill. And then when you get to it, you're like, oh my God, like you got to use two extra clubs to get up there. Like,
Yeah, fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah. You kind of need an inclinator, or you need like an oxygen machine when you get to the top, for sure. For sure. Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
can't even imagine. I'm just curious because the clubhouse is right behind it. I'm just
Yeah.
wondering, like, they must have broken windows constantly.
I was thinking the same thing, but
Yeah,
unfortunately, or sorry, fortunately, I did not blade one right into the back of the clubhouse, which
like,
would be good.
well, so the last time the Shinnecock guys invited us out, um, I forget what I had. Maybe it was a hybrid or definitely, a long iron in, and I'm just like shaking. Like there's members sitting right at that clubhouse, and like it's right there. Like I club down a bit. I'm like, you know what? I'd rather be short and have to chip up than potentially fly into them. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
Those dangerous shots by the patio. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
it's
Risk
terrible.
reward, right? You can walk
Yeah.
off and shoot a 102 and get a birdie on 18 and be the hero, or yeah, put it in some lady's Caesar salad. Um, so speaking of damage on the golf course, we'd love for you to tell us the story of the fire. And that was at Maidstone, I would assume, right?
Yes. Well, so it wasn't. So
It
basically,
wasn't a big fire. Like we've had some fire stories that have gone
yes,
on for
yeah,
days here, but
yeah.
there was an
But
incident, I should say, it's at the course.
so July 4th, obviously a big holiday in America. We don't. The club doesn't really celebrate it on July 4th because I should know this. There's a bird that lives on Long Island and it's on the beach that's kind of endangered. So they don't allow fireworks on July 4th in East Hampton until this bird, goes south. And
Wow.
yeah, so we
Runs the
celebrate it.
show. Like,
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so we celebrate it. I want to say celebrate it. We have the fireworks parade on property. I want to say late August, early September.
geez,
And
you hung around for a while.
yeah, no, they do. But I should know this. I'll get the name. But so yeah, so they go. Well, Mark, you've played it. 9T that is parallel with the ocean.
Yeah.
So the fireworks are basically set right behind 9T, and the wind was blowing, and it landed in some beach grass on the dunes, and a fire broke out. And we're the me and the other assistants are like working, and we just see like orange come up, and we're like, oh, that's not good. And then it started getting bigger, and we're like, uh-oh. So we just grabbed our hoses, just fire up the QC, and we had no idea what we were doing. We just knew water would help, and we were just pouring it on there, like hoping it did not catch on the golf course. But no,
Well, I
yeah, that
know a
was
few volunteer firefighters around where I live. Trust me, when you say you didn't know what you were doing, you probably knew a lot more about firefighting than some of the volunteer firefighters where I am. No, that's crazy.
yeah,
Yeah.
At least they
Yeah,
had the
because
water. Like,
yeah,
well, but to carry on, when you tee off at Maidstone, you actually walk away from the ocean, and then you cross the road, and then you play a couple holes, and you're like, well, wait a second here. I'm kind of out at the end of Long Island. Like, where's the ocean? But then when you kind of work your way back in, is it 4 and 5, and then
yep.
but when you get to 9T, you still kind of can't see the ocean. You kind of got to look over the dune. Is that right? Is it still like that?
No, so from what I've heard, since you played before Corin Crenshaw got
Yeah.
there, So apparently, like when you go, when you cross the bridge on four, the par three.
Yes, yes,
So all the holes, we call it the lot, like 4 through 15 that
yes.
are near the ocean and in the dunes. So apparently, if you played before 2015 and you played again, from what I hear, you would not recognize the course. Were there
Yeah, sorry.
not trees, but were you able to see from hole to hole?
No, no, not
Okay,
well.
so
So yeah, sort of.
yeah, so they basically opened it completely. So
Yeah.
like there's nothing blocking your view. So you see the whole property once when you pass that bridge. So
He,
it's completely different if you played before they came.
well, and it's interesting you say that because there's that long causeway bridge thing that you were talking about there,
Yep.
and when you come over, you're kind of like you when I played it, it was every time you were on a hole, it was great, but you're kind of like I can't quite see. Yes, so to open it up was cool. Yeah, because when you get to nine, you kind of want to see what's over the ocean, and then when you get over to what is it, 14, that signature hole, then you
Yep.
kind of got this like killer view. This is like,
Yeah.
oh, this is the postcard of Maidstone. But I think what you're saying, they've opened it up now that every hole now is now the
Yeah,
postcard of
so
Maidstone,
from what I've heard, so when you played 14, what was behind the tee?
the ocean. Well,
No, no,
dude,
like the par three that overlooks the ocean.
yeah,
Yeah, what like if you're teeing off, what would like was it trees behind you?
yeah, we're to the yeah, yes, there was trees there, yes,
So that's so then a nicer view at Maidstone than looking out to the green with the ocean in the background right now is
yeah.
you turn around, they removed all of that and you just see the whole property. And it
So
is
hang on a minute.
absolutely
So what you're
gorgeous.
telling me is that we've removed some trees on the golf course for plant health, and it looks nicer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wow, what a
exactly.
revelation!
Mark,
I
Adam,
love
I'll
it.
tell you what, you guys, if it's an open invite, you guys are
There
ever
we
out
go.
here, let me know. And you
There we
guys got to
go.
come play it.
That'd be a
Yeah,
lot of fun, man. That'd be a lot of
yeah.
fun.
We leave now. We'll be there in 11 hours. Yeah. No, on Long Island traffic. No, we'll be there in 20 hours. What am I talking about? Yeah, yeah, fantastic. Well, that's great though. How but again, you look at like well, I mean, Cork Crunch obviously being top of the food chain with architects and stuff, but you've got these wonderful old golf courses, and when I was in LA working at Riviera, you've got these old golf courses that are like Picasso's, right, or these
Yep.
fine pieces of work, and then to have an architect to come in and go, we need you to restore it. I mean, you really got to handle the stuff with kid gloves. I mean, you get in there with a bulldozer and you could end up with bad plastic surgery, like a Christina Aguilera type of thing, right? We're like, what are we doing, right?
Yeah.
You really have to appreciate the good golf architects to make things the same but better.
Before we go any further, we have to talk about the Andersons and specifically their product, GrassGuard DG. When early season weed pressure starts building, GrassGuard DG from the Andersons gives you a smarter, more efficient way to respond. Formulated with a corn gluten meal, it delivers natural pre-emergent weed suppression while providing slow-release nitrogen to support steady turf growth. GrassGuard DG offers improved efficacy at lower use rates compared to traditional corn gluten meal products. In crabgrass control trials, it outperformed competing corn gluten formulations by 17 to 33%. That means stronger results with greater efficiency for your program. For natural weed suppression backed by performance data, visit andersonspro.com to learn more about GrassGuard DG. All right, let's get you back to the show, and we had to cut a big piece out here because not everything can be shared to the public. Wow.
Nuts.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
I
We
love it.
heard last year that they were going out with mowers and looking like they were cutting, but there was no blades. So they
Yeah.
just send guys out and spinning
So
nothing.
are you talking about the last open they had?
Yeah, that's just
Yeah,
what we heard from a couple guys working there. Like we
so
were
what
sent out with mowers
happened
with no blades.
Oh yeah.
no, no. So what happened was in 2018, they basically, I think it was after Saturday, the USGA told them like, guys, the course is too difficult. We're dialing it back, throw more water down, and then the superintendent, from what I heard, was like, that's not happening. And he took a couple guys at like earlier than that, at like midnight when nobody was there, and they triple rolled the greens again and said, "We're doing it." Yeah, like, and so they just did it behind their backs and was like, "Well, we put more water down. Like, what do you want
Yeah.
from us?"
Yeah.
But yeah, that membership is golf oriented, and they want to prove that their golf course is the toughest.
Nice, nice.
A
Yeah.
little
Well,
bit of a
it's
little bit of a
exciting.
pissing contest there by the sounds of things.
Yeah,
It is, and they heard about Oakmont and how like difficult it is, and they're ready to show that Shinnecock blows it out of the water.
it's funny. There's no
Yeah.
money in those memberships either, right? Nobody's got any
No,
money or anything to do or anything.
no,
What's
exactly. They
what's
got too much
crazy
time on their hands.
I love it. Well, it's crazy because Oakmont is well, there's a freeway in the way, but you don't see it. But it's generally regarded as a flatter, so it's just kind of one long grade up to the clubhouse, where Shinnecock kind of is these like everything's up to the clubhouse. So like you tee off of one, you're down, you come up to 9, you come up to 18 and 16 and like 10. 10's got a massive swale in that fairway, 11's up top. So there's a lot of more severe grade change rather than a long plane. But again, you get these architects that like from 100 and some years ago that were managed to put a challenging structure that sort of defies the upgrades in the game of golf with the ball and the club and the shaft and these clubs have stood the test of time. Marion being another one. Like Marion is an extremely short golf course, a U.S. Open stop on a very small piece of property. It still
Mhm.
manages to protect par some way. And I just don't know. Like, I mean, obviously you're catching lightning in a bottle to do that, but you look at modern architects now, they're like, I'm going to create a U.S. Open venue. And they just stretch it out to 7,800, 7,800.
Mm.
And it's just kind of like, blah. I don't know. I don't get what they
Yeah,
do. It is an art. It really is an art.
for sure.
Yep.
And you know what? The one thing I will say, I agree with that statement for sure. I kind of wish the USGA would go to different golf courses. You know what I like? I feel like it's just
Yeah.
always. I wish there's some great golf courses out there that they could go to, and I feel like they're missing out on that opportunity.
Yeah. I
Yep.
think it's a small thing called money that might get in the way, but
You're right,
I don't
actually.
know.
No,
Keep
you're
filling their
right.
pockets. No, no, no. You
Yeah.
guys come back here. Come back here.
Yeah. Well, also you also need to find a membership that's willing to host
It's
because
true. It's a big
when
shutdown.
absolutely when you're hosting any tour event, your golf course isn't gone for a week or two. It's a lot
Mm-mm.
longer than that, and putting it back together. I mean, again, back to somebody like TPC River Highlands and Travelers, like they host every year, and they just come in. Tour comes in with their circus, they have their party, and then Jason's left to pick up the pieces, right? And every there's like I don't know. Again, maybe because I know Jason, he's a great grass grower, but it's like, how do you look at a piece of grass going, well, that's going to be fucked in June, and maybe we'll get then we're going to come out with a sod cutter, and then we'll be good to go again, and then it'll be fucked next June. Like I don't know how they. I mean, at least Shinnecock is like, okay, well, this is screwed, but at least it won't. They're not back for 4 years. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know how these guys do it, but they do. I mean, they do it. Sawgrass would be another. Those places that host annually, right?
Maybe we just need more Augustas that are just tournament courses shut down for most of the year. Open them up for those couple months we need them and shut them
And
back
there's no.
down.
But again, Augusta, there's no tents there, right?
Yeah, it's a
All the
completely
structures
different
are permanent.
beast.
There's no VIP. There's no.
Yeah,
It's a
it's
different
true.
one.
It's old
Yeah.
school.
Riviera for one stretch, kind of along near 14 or whatever. They didn't have structures. They just brought in like 6 food trucks, and it was
Nice.
awesome. They just
Nice.
mulched like a half acre and just brought in these food trucks, and it was just awesome. It's a good
That's
set.
all
They
people
drove
need,
in.
right? Hey, you
Pardon
got
me?
food and beer,
And you're
golf.
good to
What
Oh
go.
else do we
yeah,
need?
can't beat California street tacos. I mean,
Yeah.
every place regionally in the U.S. has their food, and California street tacos are good. I mean, Long Island's got their lobster and other seafood delicacies. That's for sure. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. So
Awesome.
Maidstone then. So how big is a membership at that? Like we're talking golf, tennis. There's like a
So,
beach there. Don't you guys have beachfront too? Didn't I see
so
some?
by the way, that's probably our biggest amenity is the beach club. Um,
Okay.
yeah, that's what. So out of our membership, from what I heard, about only 25% play golf.
What?
Yeah,
They don't pay all the same dues. Like
they
a golf.
do. Yeah, no, they do.
Shut up.
Yeah, and
Holy smokes.
yeah, they do. And 25% golf, 25% play tennis, and there's not a lot of intertwine. Like it seems like you either pick up tennis and you stick to tennis, or you pick up golf and you stick to golf. But I would say, our big sell is you could imagine the Hamptons and how like nice it is, and the beaches are beautiful, and we just got this massive, you know, property on the beach that, while somebody that lives out here and, anybody that has that place in the Hamptons is very well off, they come with their family to the beach versus at Maidstone, you could order, the tables are all set out on the beach, and you could order food, and they see that and they want to join this place. And yeah, no, so we kind of have a running joke that we are a beach club that happens to have a top 100 golf course that
Just
people
so
use
happens.
sometimes. Yeah, it just so happens that we have this really beautiful golf course that people can use.
That's so cool.
So what's your membership size then? What how many members are we looking at?
Uh,
Or can I not ask that? Because I know
No,
when you're
yeah, no, I don't know if I have the right number. It's interesting because I want to say not everybody's a full member. So they don't really we kind of say you either marry into it or you're born into it. They don't really accept new members. The person who runs the front desk, she always tells us every day she gets a call saying like, "Oh, how much is it to join?" And her answer every time is, we have a wait list, but it's reserved for the members' children's. And that's
Wow.
it. Yeah.
Thanks
And
for your
it's like,
call.
yeah. And so, yeah, the full membership, which is basically like, you could use every amenity, and you could play golf at any time you want. I want to say it's, just over 300, but it's anywhere from 300 to 500. But then there's also like children from the members who are members but aren't fully
Yeah.
members. If that makes
Social
sense.
members.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But you can be like 40 years old and not be a full member here. It's kind of like you're still like under your parents' membership.
Wow.
as long as they're paying for it then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as the
Well,
money's coming in.
Yeah. Hey.
I was the president of our chapter here in Ontario. So the GCSAA had a board meeting up at Toronto Golf Club one year, and so that was the GCSAA and the OGSA, and with this wonderful meeting and whatnot. So Dave Gurley Sr., he's the general manager at a golf club in Boca, like
Okay.
Boca Raton. So he's up at the Toronto Golf Club in July, and he's like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" Blah, blah. I'm like, "Dude, it's July. Like, how are you coming up here for 3 or 4 days or whatever?" He looks at me, he goes, "What are you talking about?" It says like I'm at like Boca Raton Golf Club, or the club at Boca, one of those wealthy Boca
Yeah.
Raton golf courses. I don't remember the name of it. They all sound the same. He goes, "My membership summers up in the Hamptons. Like he goes, I might put through 50 rounds of golf in the entire month of July."
Wow.
He goes, "My members aren't here. They're all members up at like the Maidstone golf." Like,
Yeah.
so either depending, glass half full, glass half empty. So either you're a member at Maidstone and you're a member down at this club down in Florida. Like when we play Baltusrol, like the same sort of a round, we're chatting with the caddy, and we had because I was playing with the superintendent at Baltusrol when we were there, and so we had like an A+ caddy. The members pay for these caddies at Baltusrol to go down to their other club in Florida for the winter and caddy for them down there. They put them up in their big homes and with their butlers, and the caddy stays there. And these caddies are sticks too, right? Let's not fool ourselves with that. And he goes, "Yeah." I go, "So what do you do for the winter?" He goes, "Oh no, I'm like caddy down with Mr. So and so at his club, and I'm his caddy for the like nice work if you can get it, right?" Like
Yeah.
crazy. So
I hear some crazy caddy stories where it seems like depending on like some members have their guy and they want their guy and they'll do anything to just have this guy every time he plays golf to be on his bag. And
it's crazy. So I can't remember. So we played. I'm not going to brag. Anyway, when we played Shinnecock, the caddy said and yeah, I want to hear your side of the story on this. Okay. So Shinnecock and National Golf Links, there's like a little cedar fence that separates the two. There's really no separation. They're right there.
Yep.
That some members at Shinnecock tell the members at Links that my caddy can beat your caddy. You know, like when you're in a schoolyard as you're a kid, like my daddy can beat your daddy, and they'll
Yep.
bet on their caddies beating their other caddies at their golf.
Yeah.
Is this true? Is this a
Yeah.
thing?
Pretty
It's
cool
like horse
tournament.
racing with people.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a pretty cool tournament out on Long Island where it's named after this guy who was a caddy. Oh man, I want to say the Bridge, which is in not the Bridge, Atlantic, which is in Bridgehampton. I could be
Yes.
wrong about
Very
that,
nice golf.
but yeah, beautiful golf course.
Yeah.
But basically, he was a caddy, and then he started working for a member in business, but lost his life on 9/11. So they made this tournament for him where all the caddies on Long Island, like Maidstone sends their best four, Friar's Head sends their best four, Shinnecock sends their best four, and they play like no strokes. Like whoever has the best caddies win it. I forget the name of it. It's named after this guy, but the caddies that are here are like the best in the world, and they take it serious, and the memberships all around here know that, and it's pretty cool what is going on.
It sounds like a Netflix thing
Oh,
Yeah.
to me.
It's insane. Like,
There could be something there. There's some
Yeah.
stories of some of those guys, you know,
Yeah.
think about how hard being a caddy is too, like working your way up, sleeping late nights, early mornings, all that kind of stuff. 36
Double
carrying two
looping,
bags.
like
Double
two
looping,
friggin'
yeah.
bags on there.
Crazy.
You guys
Those
don't
guys
even
are-
want to know what courses out here charge per bag.
So yeah, you're right. I don't.
Yeah, no,
We
you
were-
don't.
Crazy.
Sometimes I
We were
ask myself, I'm like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
Like, I should be on a bag right now.
Well, when we played, we were, I can't remember what it was, but we basically, like, he double looped us because we were two when we were playing, and we were 100, we left him 150. I'm sure that was the bottom,
Yeah. He was probably like these
below the
fucking
bottom rung of the
Canadians.
ladder. That was industry rate, is probably what they were charging us.
Yeah. Yeah. There's
Oh, man.
I hear some stories of like what these guys can make in the pocket, and it's all cash too,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
Like
it's all cash.
they do well for themselves. I'll say that.
That's an interesting career.
Mhm.
Well, Ryan, this
love-
has been really, really cool, man. And we can't thank you enough for making the time for us today. I wanted you, and we usually pass the floor over to our guests at the end here today. And if there's anything else you want to dig into, definitely dig into it. But we'd love for you to talk about that internship program you guys have going right now. Because just even hearing about you having an interview and all the guys are on the call, like that's
Yeah.
pretty special, man. So talk
Yeah,
to
you
us
know,
about that.
This is going to be a plug that I'm going to put in, but our intern at Maidstone, our internship program, I feel like is getting the word's getting out. We had, you know how, low supply, high demand this industry is. We had over 20 applicants for 3 spots of
Wow.
our internship.
Nice.
Wow.
And
Nice.
yeah, and my boss, we had people from every university apply, and my boss is always his motto, which I love. He doesn't care what what you've done. He just cares, meeting you on the Zoom, who you are, and if you're a good person, a nice person. And his motto is like, I can teach you anything you don't know. You just got to be a good fit. And he, so the coolest thing about working at Maidstone is he allows us to, not just the assistants, but the interns too, to sit in on Greens Committee meetings. And
Boy.
it's pretty, I take it for granted because, I talk to these guys on courses around here and they're like, oh, you get to do that. And I'm like, yeah, he's nice enough to let us. And we got something really special with our internship program, and it's definitely taken off. And, kind of a plug here that I'm doing, but no, it's a extremely cool internship. And depending on what like we actually hired somebody that her name's Cassidy, and she came to visit during her spring break instead of going, to Miami. She came to work at Maidstone for a couple days, and that was pretty cool. But this is her first job on a golf course, and we took her over people that have worked at Oakmont and Marion and Augusta just because of who she is and the personality she has. And yeah, no, we got an awesome thing going here. And if anybody's interested in applying, I highly suggest you do because it's pretty sweet here.
I love it.
It's so important. I mean, we talk about the agronomy and the chemistry and the soils and whatnot, but golf is such a people business. I mean, especially when you're at the top of the food chain, when you're sitting in greens committee meetings, it's there, and the politics alone of what's going on. So it's important to see through the education and the experience and go, we need the right person. We don't need the right education, right?
For
And
sure.
I think the people that will succeed in any business, I mean, outside of golf, will be the ones that have good people skills.
And you
And
know
if we,
what? When I sat in as an intern at Maidstone, when I sat into my first Greens Committee meeting, I realized my boss John, how he got this job, the way he speaks to them, because the Greens Committee or any member at the golf club you're working at have no idea on the agronomy aspect of anything. So he's kind of like talking to them in a way that is not like belittling them, but like he's explaining it to them in a way that like they can understand. And just how he presents himself, I'm like, okay, this I understand how he got this big job because it's all about communication at the end of the day.
and how eye-opening is that for someone like yourself, right?
Oh, it was
That
massive.
it
Yeah.
does not get taught within the four walls of Penn State, not
No,
belittling that program at all, but to go in there under a
for
good
sure.
mentor and just, your boss is like, okay, watch this, and he pulls that shit off. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
cool story. I like that. I like
And
that.
we've
Yeah.
heard about that with mentors too. It's hard if you're the guy to be able to break down those walls and include people and stuff like that. But that's a solid mentor to be able to say, I'm not going to hold you back. I'm not worried about you going further than me in our careers or doing something better than me. I'm here to teach you. I'm here to make you better. So let's experience this together. I'm not going to hold you back. Those men and women are so, so important to our industry.
Well
Oh, for
said, Adam.
sure. And
Yeah.
that's why I'm here is to work for him. He told me so he like I said his work-life balance, we have a very good work-life balance and he said when he was an intern he worked I won't say the course, but he worked in New Jersey and he said he worked, over 90 hours a week and he said he told himself when he was working there, if I'm ever a superintendent, I'll never let any of my guys do this
Yeah.
again. So
Nice.
yeah, so it's who you work for and learning from that person makes, it's night and day difference.
Right on.
Love it.
I love
Love
that.
it.
So Ryan, was there anything else you wanted to talk about today or anything else you thought we might ask you or anything like
No,
that?
just thank you guys for letting me come on. And again, guys, don't even if you're not like make a trip to come to Long Island and come play Maidstone.
Very
It
much
would be
so.
worth a trip. It would be worth a
Hey, it
trip.
would, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Anytime, make a trip and let me know, and we'll play Maidstone.
Love
all
it.
right. Well, me and Mark will start chatting about it. We got another buddy here too. The three of us would probably have to make the trip down, but I think we could probably make it work.
Oh yeah,
Be
for
fun.
sure. Just
And
let
then
me
we'll
know.
bring, bro. We have to include Brian too. He's probably listening to this right now, going, guys, guys. So there's our fourth.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
we go. Awesome. Thank
Yeah.
you guys.
Great
All
job,
right.
brother.
Thanks again, Ryan. You did really great today.
Awesome. Take care, guys.
Yeah.
All right, have a good one, man.
That was good.
It was good. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
A guy that didn't, sometimes you have people that really expand and get into different stories and stuff. So he didn't, break down a lot because he works at one of those courses where you can't really get into too much. But I thought he did a great job of talking about his career and all the stuff that he got going on there and told a few funny stories. So that was really good.
So was he looking down every once in a while at his NDA, going, "Okay, I can't
Yeah.
talk about this."
Can't say that. Can't say that.
Yeah. No, that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. We've had guys like that on the show before where it's you ask them a question, they're like, next question. I
Yeah.
just can't touch that.
Yeah.
So,
You this is old hat for you. So
yeah. But it's cool to hear about some of those places. I've never visited Maidstone, although I've heard the name before and played Shinnecock on the video games and watched some of the
yeah.
tournaments and stuff. But to get to talk to somebody who's on the grounds every day and
Yeah.
experiencing it is really fun.
It's further down towards the tip, and it's got its challenges. I didn't even know there was an extra 9 holes there. Like we played the whatever it was, the 18 there, and it was stupid good. Other than we got literally poured on. We got 6 inches of rain on the back nine. It was crazy. I don't even think we played the 18th, but you have to walk it because you have to walk all the way back in.
Yeah.
Like it was nuts. But no, he did really well. Yeah.
Yeah, that
So
was
where's
good.
Brian? Why he couldn't make today?
Yeah, we had a couple different interviews today, and so this is the late one. He just couldn't make it happen. He's actually heading out on spring break. So he was just
Okay,
at
gotcha.
Pinehurst, which would have been amazing, and now he's going on spring break with his family. So
Yeah,
for everybody listening, we will not have a show next week. So in 2 weeks' time, you can join back in. We got a couple great interviews lined up for then, but yeah, spring break. So week off. Catch everybody in a couple weeks.
that sounds good. Sounds good,
Yeah,
Adam.
buddy. And I was going to ask you, so you are doing Travelers, you're doing Canadian
Yeah,
Open. Is there any other stops on the PGA Tour this year people can see you?
I'm gonna go to the Masters just as a spectator, but yeah,
Oh, okay, as a patron.
again they let me keep my Class A, so I'm gonna keep going. But yeah, I'm gonna head down to Augusta. Yeah, then June. Yeah, June's gonna be tough because it's Canadian Open,
Hmm.
and then it'll be Travelers right after the U.S. Open. So 2 of the 4 weeks will be tour events, but Canadian Open's in the backyard at TPC Toronto. So
Yeah,
that'll be always
I
good.
love how they return there, right? They just said,
Yeah,
"Yeah, we'll just run it back." It was so
yeah,
good. Like there's
back.
no,
Well, they didn't even take some of the stuff out of there. They just left it. They're like, why would we? Where are
yeah.
we going to put it for a year?
What's
We'll
the
just keep it
point?
here. Yeah, yeah. So the rink's being built as we speak. They're getting in there. I mean, obviously these things take time, and the
Hmm.
rink's a pretty big build out.
Yeah.
18 is a big build out there. I think they're going to look forward to really another successful event. Golf Canada is moving in at the beginning of April into their new digs, which is along the 13th hole, that par five. So they've
Wow.
got they're moving out of the Glen Abbey, they're moving into there, and then they built a this might even be another whole podcast in itself. So they built a putting green, an artificial putting green out front by Himalaya Golf did it, and it's going to be free to all the patrons. So like even the
Oh,
member the
wow.
yeah, it's pretty cool. I've got some drone video of it being done. It will be finished. It should be ready by the Canadian Open.
And then they're just
It's
gonna
pretty sick. It's pretty sick. Yeah.
they'll just have a bunch of putters for people to use, and you'd have to have a ton of holes.
Yeah, I think it's 9. Anyway, are you coming up for that event? You're going to be here for
Possibly, yeah.
TPC? Yeah, because I think now, like where you went in for the Canadian Open with the ticketing and all that, that's technically where the Golf Canada building is now. And I even think this year, when the spectators go in, you're actually going to be walking on Golf Canada property through because they
Oh,
really
okay.
want it to stand out. So
Yeah.
a little bit of a different ingress and egress of that. But yeah, they obviously it's their event. This is their flagship event at
Hmm.
TPC, and that's going to be their new headquarters. They're going to want to flaunt it. So they're moving in April. It'll be a soft like kind of opening, but I think by June they should be kind of full in and maybe working the kinks out. But yeah,
Nice.
I think you're going to
Nice.
see a lot of stuff going on up there some more. But yeah, those are my commitments for 2026. I think. Yeah,
Beautiful. Gonna be a fun year. I know there's lots of good golf happening, lots of big tournaments, and
yeah,
the TPC Toronto one's gonna be a lot of fun.
yeah. I think you're going to see. Well, the Open won't be there next year. They're going to announce that soon. Well, they had all their meetings. So the PGA Tour had all their meetings at Sawgrass. So they haven't announced the 2027 schedule, but I heard they're going to juggle where, like, I think the Canadian Open's going to have a different date next year.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're
Didn't
going
they
to.
just
So
move
that's
it a
going to
few
be.
years ago?
It's had its June date for a few years now. Remember they said the shitty date after the British Open that was awful.
Yeah,
But
nobody
for
would
I mean,
come.
and then forever it was in September. It was that weekend after the Labor Day weekend, but because of the FedEx now, it got all jumbled around. Like that, yeah, that week after the British was a shitty date. But having it where it is now, the week before the US Open, is
Hmm.
kind of cool because Canadian Open, US Open. But the problem is it being where it is in June, if you're having a golf tournament in Caledon, it doesn't leave a lot of growing time for
No,
grass.
no.
There's a really, I mean, when the guys in the GTA were having their events was cool because they have another week or two of grass growing. But when you take another 2 weeks away, it's tough. I mean, if you're going to have a Niagara or Windsor, that's fine
That's
because
different. Yeah.
it's palm trees and tropical fruit down there, but up in Caledon, it's so we still got a ton of snow on the ground. I mean, Ottawa, what's that like, right? You still
People
got
are
a lot of
sick
snow.
of me talking about the fucking snow here in Ottawa. It's
Yeah, yeah,
ridiculous, man. We
for
can't do
sure.
anything. We're literally in like wait mode.
Yeah,
Like, we're just
yeah.
waiting.
Everybody's picking up sticks around here right now. Nobody's really done any cuts yet. Actually, sorry, in Niagara and Windsor, yeah, they've got some cuts in right now, and they're the Tarandawas and stuff had their stick flags in because they're just set up that the minute the snow is gone, you can just go out and play, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But no, I mean, but here in Caledon, though, we still have snow. The snow is pretty much gone in the city, but all those high-end golf courses, they're not going to be the first to open. They never are. Why would they do that, right? I think I think you're good for Easter. I think you're good for Masters. I know. I think they're going to start announcing some more opening dates here in the GTA probably next week, but this week put everybody on pause here. Anyway.
Chilling. I was at the shop last week, and the one day my superintendent wasn't in, so the mechanic's like looking at me. He's like, "What are you gonna do today?"
Yeah.
So I'm gonna walk 18 holes. I'm gonna go out and walk. I'm not in very good shape right now. I'm gonna go out and walk 18 holes and take some pictures and see what I find. And I was very surprised. Like, there's a lot of snow and ice out there and stuff, but wasn't a lot of trees down. Course looks like a golf course. Like, it's ready. We just gotta lose the snow.
Yeah, there's not, and again, a lot of the snow that has melted, there's some snow mold in the rough for a lot of the guys. Again, I'm talking to Jason, the superintendent at TPC River Highlands. He said we went through pretty well, but he actually did say, he said the rough got smoked here. He goes, I've never seen, he's been there for 20 years as the intern assistant superintendent, whatever. And he says, this is one of the worst years for snow mold in the rough. And kind of the defense at TPC River Highlands is the rough. And they're kind of the same climate that we are here, and they need to have a warm spring.
Yeah.
I remember the one event I worked there about 3 or 4 years ago. They had thin rough and whatnot. They had to throw a bunch of ammonium nitrate down there and to get it to thicken up. So anyway, those are the challenges that you don't see when the cameras come on, right? When they're done with the Floridas and the Texases and the Georgias, and then they come up to the Northeast.
See how these guys are doing.
Yeah, it's like, man, if you were to come here a week ago, it wasn't going to look like this, right? Yeah. But they do it.
Yeah,
they do it.
It's incredible how they make it happen. Sometimes it comes down to money. Sometimes it comes down to the smart men and women behind all the controls, right?
Yeah, I think so too. So, okay, you have a great weekend then, Adam, and we'll catch up in a bit, buddy.
All right, Mark. Great job today, brother. Chat soon.
Thank you. You too.
See everybody in 2 weeks. Masters Pool coming out on Turf Today Instagram, so be ready. Keep them sharp.
In her heart, there's a home. There's a black mark on her soul. In her hands is my heart, and she won't let go till it's scarred. Try to breathe, but I can't, 'cause the air she feeds me is damned. Got a touch like a thorn, 'cause the girl, she's hiding horns. She got blood cold as ice and a heart made of stone, but she keeps me alive. She's the beast in my bones. She gets everything she wants when she gets me alone, like it's nothing. She got 2 little horns and they give me a little bit. Ice and a heart made of stone, but she keeps me alive. She's the beast in my bones. She gets everything she wants when she gets me alone, like it's nothing. She got 2 little horns and they give me a little bit. Like a devil pointed at me, and there's nowhere to run from the fire she breathes. She got horns like a devil pointed at me, and there's nowhere to run from the fire she breathes. She got horns like a devil pointed at me, and there's nowhere to run from the fire she breathes.
horns like a devil pointed at me. She got